Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Hello everyone, Carrie here with Unicorn Company, and today we are looking at the McCarron's Armored Cavalry Foce Pack. Now, this Foce Pack isn't exclusive to Barnes & Noble, but I do have one that I am going to give away, and if you want to know how to get that, please stay to the end of the video. So, this Foce Pack comes with 4 mechs, and I'm going to probably mispronounce one of their names. It comes with, first of all, 2 that we already have miniatures for. That would be the Black Knight and the Awesome. These are variants of the mechs that came out previously, so they're a tiny bit different. And then we have something that many who played Mech Assault 2, no, not Mech Assault 2, Mech Commander 2 will remember, and that is the Starslayer. I think that was the only video game to feature this miniature, or this mech, and quite frankly, the miniature totally brings me back to that. And finally, we have the Tian-Zong. I think that's how you pronounce it, Tian-Zong. And this is a Dark Age mech from the Capellan Confederation. And it is, well, it is something else. We will just say that. So let's go ahead and get into these. Now, the first of these is the Awesome that I'm going to look at. And the reason for this is, quite frankly, they have done a wonderful job of updating the look of the mech. Now, many of you who got the original Plastic Awesome will probably remember the right arm had a oblong PPC barrel. That is no longer an issue. It is perfectly round. And this one has 4 PPCs. I think it's the 9Q. And they've done an amazing job on this. The only barrel to have any burring is the left arm. And looking at it for any mold lines or anything, I'm not really seeing anything. I'm going all the way around the miniature right now. And we look really good on mold lines. They've hidden them in the corners. So like if you run your finger along the edge of the shoulder pauldrons, you can feel it, but it's not visible. They've done a really good job of making sure that you don't see these mold lines. Also, the, I guess, fidelity of the cast is much better than the original one. They've done a wonderful job there. And I do like that it's in a somewhat dynamic pose with a little bit of a torso twist. It's walking. It just looks really good, especially compared to what we got originally. Now, the Alpha Strike card for the Awesome comes with the Awesome 9Q. It's 45 points. It's a battle mech, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6 inches. It's a sniper. It has a short, medium, and long of 4, so that's pretty impressive. No overheat. Armor on this is 8. Structure is 6. With ECM and energy. And this is available from the Clan Invasion forward. And I think I mentioned it's 45 points. If not, well, there I go. Now, this right here, I've been mentioning in prior videos about how, I guess, easy it is to drop someone into a mech. And this is one of the ones where you can literally drop someone in it. It has, the only special rules it has is ECM and energy. So it's not hard to explain what it does. And quite frankly, unless it's pertinent, ECM's not going to come up. So that's a really good thing. But if you want another trainer, but a little bit beefier, you have the other side of the card, which is the Awesome C. And the Awesome C is 51 points. It's a battle mech, size 4, TMM of 1, movement of 6 inches. It's a sniper. Has a short, medium, and long of 6. So if you like the Hellstar and you are a Clan Goliath Scorpion player, there's your ride. It is available from the Dark Ages forward. It has no overheat value, armor of 8, structure of 6, with energy as its only special. So once again, this is a really good mech that you can drop somebody into who is brand new. It gives them a lot of firepower. It also has very little in the way of specials, so you don't need to explain a lot if you're getting someone into the game for the first time. A wonderful miniature, a wonderful Alpha Strike card for it. I'm really impressed. Next up, we have the Black Knight.
None shall pass.
Wait. That's not the right Black Knight. Give me just one moment here. Okay, here we go. The Black Knight. Now, this Black Knight, I believe, is a BL 18 KNT Black Knight. It's well, quite frankly, it's really well done. I like the amount of detail on it once again. And looking for mold lines or clip points, I am yet to find one. I don't see anything on the bottom of the arms, on the well, let me see, hold up. No, you can feel one on a weapon barrel, and if you turn it just right, you can barely see it. That'll come off super easy. And that's on the main weapon on the mech's right arm. Everything else is really good. The mold lines are in corners, so they're hard to see, and you can feel them on the arms and legs, but you can't really see them. As far as clip points, I am turning this model every different which way, and I'm not finding anything, which I think is really good. They've gotten pretty good at hiding the clip points, which I do like, and I'm very happy with because it's less you have to clean up. And quite frankly, the model, once again, it's in a nice dynamic pose. It looks really good. I like the fact that they have this really well lined up with the hex base, like it should be. And I think once again they've done a wonderful job on the Black Knight. Looking at the Alpha Strike cards for it, we have we have one card double-sided. We have the BL12 KNT, which is 40 points. It's a battle mech, size 3, TMM of 1, movement of 8 inches. It's a brawler. Has a short and medium of 4, a long of 2, overheat of 2, with armor of 7, structure of 6, special of energy, and also it's available from the Blakist era forward. Once again, really good mech to put someone new in. I mean, this is really nice. Not a lot of bells and whistles. Just does what it says. It's right there. I like this as far as like, especially a new player. Well, not for me, but like if I hand this to a new player, it's like, hey, yeah, no, you don't got anything to worry about with specials. You just go. The other one we have here is the BL18 KNT Black Knight. It's 47 points. It's a battle mech, size 3, TMM1, movement of 8 inches. It's a brawler. Has a short and medium of 5, a long of 4, with an overheat of 3. Armor on this is 7 with structure of 4, so I'm guessing you have a light engine in there or an XL engine. Has energy, probe, and recon for special abilities. Not a lot. Once again, very straightforward design. And I don't remember if I mentioned it, but it's available from the Dark Ages forward. So both of these are really nice, and quite frankly, they're something that you could give a newer player. It's going to work really well for them. It's not going to be like a whole bunch of stuff. And it would introduce them to the concept of overheat and how that works. Now, the next two miniatures in here are completely new. The first of these, which I mentioned earlier, is the Starslayer. Now, the Starslayer it's interesting. So this one comes as jumping or non-jumping. So you have, sorry about the noise, you have the miniature itself, the jump jet plume, a little tiny greeble to sit on the ground, and then you have the hex base, and it has a keyed position for the jump jet plume and for the greeble, so that way it's put in the correct position regardless of how you want to do it. Now, first of all, going over the greeble and the jump jet plume. They're well done. They're just something minor that would be on the ground. I can't make out what the greeble is. I think it's just various bits and bobs. It looks like there might be a sewer pipe or something sticking out of both sides, but it's very simple. That is a really smushed car, but I doubt that. And then the other thing you have here, the jump jet plume, very standard, basic jump jet plume. Nothing special about it, although I do have a slight grievance with it, and that is when you push it in to the jump jet ports, you have to push really hard, because if you don't, the miniature so the top jump jet ports are where it attaches. The three beneath it, because it has like a center line one and then two directly below the top ones, if you don't push hard enough, it will not seat in those, and you will see a gap between the jump jet ports and the actual plume, which looks a little weird. But overall, like, it works out really well. It looks good. And if you're using it in a diorama or something, you can actually just stand it on the jump jet plume, and it doesn't need a hex base. But let's take a look at the miniature. So the actual miniature itself, starting in the front, everything looks really good. I'm not seeing a lot as far as any kind of mold lines or anything. There are a couple in the middle of the upper legs, which are very slight and should come off pretty easy. The insides of the legs are good, as well as the outsides. The upper body, the torso, looks really good. And the arms also, once again, the detail on them is really good. There's not any mold lines that I'm seeing there. And then we get to the rear of the miniature. It's done pretty well. Like, I can find mold lines just along the bottom of the right arm, which is just one giant weapon barrel, and the left arm, but they are only by touch. I can't see them. The backs of the legs, really good. Looking for clip points, I'm not seeing them again. They've done a wonderful job of hiding those. Once again, I'm hoping they've gone to doing them in the actual parts that connect together, because that would hide them perfectly. And then, of course, you have it in that jumping pose, which does work out really well with the jump jets if you get them in there right. Now, my one little grievance, I guess, with this overall, other than the having to really push hard on that jump jet plume to get it in there, so you're going to want to pick whether you want this jumping or not jumping before you paint it. The other thing is the greeble. So I know what they're going for here. It's like in a walking pose, and they've done a pretty decent job of that. The thing is, the peg for the right side of under the jump jet plume, it's a round peg, and that barely sticks into the foot. So you have the mech's left foot on this crushed thing, which works perfectly. And then the right foot, you have a peg that extends all the way down with just the toes touching the ground. And that's another reason you're going to want to select whether or not you want this to be jumping or not jumping when you paint it and get it all set up. Because if you're not going to have it jumping, you're probably going to want to pull that, like cut that peg out, so you don't have this weird peg sticking into the bottom of the mech's foot that is probably, I'd say, about like 4 or 5 centimeters tall. Or sorry, millimeters, not centimeters. Jesus, that would be a tall peg. So yeah, it's something you're gonna have to cut out, which I'm not a big fan of. That, or you're gonna have to just live with it being there forever and ever, which also not a big fan of. Now, as far as Alpha Strike cards for the Starslayer, we have the STY 3D lowercase r. It's 39 points, available from the Blakist era forward. It's a battle mech, size 2, TMMF2, movement of 10 inches jump. It's a sniper. Has a short and medium of 3, a long of 2. No overheat value. Armor on this is 6. Structure is 4. with specials of ECM, Energy, Rear 1-1-0, and Triple Strength Myanmar. So it's an interesting little mech. You have to use the rule about overheating without having an overheat value to get the most out of it. And quite frankly, this is something that you could get stuck into a fight, and it's going to be able to protect itself 360 degrees. Your opponent has a dasher that runs up behind you. Guess what? You're getting one to the face. Then you have the 4C Starslayer. It's 36 points, available from the Dark Ages forward. It's a battle mech, size 2, TMM of 2, movement of 10 inches jump. It's a skirmisher, short and medium of 3, long of 0, with 2 overheat. I was about to say none, but it does have overheat. Overheat of 2, armor of 6, structure of 4, with rear 1-1-0, and triple strength Myanmar. So out of the two, I kind of prefer the 4C. You're not paying for the long range 2 damage, which you're probably not going to use that often. So, this one is a bit more, in my opinion, a brawler. It has that ability to heat up and do damage, which gives you some more value with the TSM. It also has that rear ability. So once again, super simple, super straightforward. It's just a couple special rules on it. It's a decent little, it says it's a skirmisher, but I think of it more like a skirmishing brawler, because it can get up in your face, do 5 damage, jump away and hide for a turn, and then come back and do it again. So yeah, other than the weird peg issue with the Starslayer, I have no problem with the miniature, and I like the card it comes with. They did a good job on picking that. Now, finally, we have the Tian-Zong, which, God, I have to be mispronouncing that. So this is a Capellan mech, and it's from the Dark Ages, and it reminds me a little bit of the Pariah. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. It's one of my favorite mechs, and yeah, it's a society mech. I think the Coyotes used it for a little while. It's really kind of a cool mech. But this reminds me of it, and it's because of the arms. It has, well, we'll get into it here. So, first of all, just general description of the mech. It's really well done. I like the way they did this. It's a good interpretation of what came out originally and what was designed. The arms, in my opinion, feel slightly small. I don't know how else to put it. They're plenty tall enough. Don't get me wrong. They look nice that way. And the upper arms look pretty decent. The lower arms just look very anemic in their width. Now, staying on the arms for a minute, the other thing that just sticks out to me immediately is on the mech's right arm, they tried to hide the mold line in the top of the hand, along the outside part where the top of the palm would be. And they have not succeeded in that at all. You're going to have to clean that up. That's pretty bad. Catalyst, you had me impressed here. What happened? I mean, I don't know. Y'all are still doing premium miniatures, so there is that. But yeah, overall, that thing just bugs me. The weapons on the arms, they are detailed. Only thing is, the front of the barrels, they feel really small. I don't know what weapons those are supposed to be, but if that's anything more than a machine gun, it's just not right. So otherwise, looking at it from the front, everything looks pretty good. You do have some mold lines running up the middle of the kneecaps, the knee protection. And on the front, it looks good. Not seeing any clip points from here, which usually you won't see anyway. And the shoulder weapons, there is a good amount of burring around the end of those barrels. You will want to clean those up with a sanding stick. Now, getting over to the mech's left side, everything looks good. There's nothing to really, there's nothing to say, oh no, look at that, that's horrible. So that's good. Getting to the back, once again, those shoulder weapons rear their ugly head. They have clip points directly on the back of them. So clip points are not your friend. And in fact, looking at them top down, you can see a mold line that runs the length of those shoulder weapons. Not a lot to clean up, but they are showing. So you do have that. The back of the mech looks fine. The back of the legs, right on the back of the thigh, just below where you have the hip actuators, you can see the clip points. Shouldn't be hard to clean up. There is a mold line on both legs running down the middle. Once again, very slight, but it's there. You will want to clean that up. And then getting onto the right side, everything looks good once again. It's nice and pretty from here. So overall, the miniature's good. I don't know about the proportions on the arms. They feel a little bit weird to me, especially given that it's a heavy mech, and those arms look kind of thin for a heavy mech. I mean, yeah, that mold line in the hand just like drives me a little nuts. So let's look at the cards for the Tian-Zong. So the Tian-Zong we have the TNZ-N1. It's 41 points. It's a battle mech, size 3, TMM of 1, movement of 8 inches. It's a sniper, short and medium of 4, long of 3, with no overheat. It has armor of 7, structure of 3, with Angel ECM and stealth. So as far as stealth mechs go, that's pretty simple. Also it's available from the Dark Ages forward. It hits pretty good. You've got stealth to help you at range. Not a bad mech. I mean, am I kind of like, oh yeah, no, the miniature has some issues? Yes. Does the mech have some issues? It doesn't look like it really. But then you have the other one that comes on the card, the TNZ and 3 Tian-Zong, also a Dark Ages version. It's 42 points. It's a battle mech, size 3, TMM1, movement of 8 inches. It's a sniper. Does 4 damage at every range. So this thing just hits you at every range with 4 damage. So you're talking about awesome levels of damage. It has armor of 7, 7, structure of 3, Angel ECM, and stealth. Also Dark Ages forward, I think I mentioned that, in 42 points. So essentially the question you have here is, do you want to spend an extra point on an extra point of damage? Quite frankly, unless you're building a list tailored to long range capabilities, which the Tian-Zong would do well at because of the stealth armor. It also requires you, though, to have the fire lanes to use it, which a lot of times I will find that they are few and far between, simply because of intervening terrain. You're not going to find a lot of clean fire lanes to shoot down a table a lot of times, unless it's pretty open with terrain. So yeah, overall, the Foce Pack is really nice. I do like the miniatures that it comes with. The Alpha Strike cards that it comes with are also really good. The Starslayer, like I said, you're going to have to either pick jumping or not jumping unless you want a peg that sticks into the bottom of the next foot from now and then. And also that Greeble comes off of the base pretty easy. You got to pick. Tian-Zong, there's a few QC issues that I see on it, but nothing serious. The Awesome and the Black Knight are great new renditions of miniatures that we already have, and quite frankly, I think they are by and far superior to what we already have. So let's go ahead and talk about pricing and where you can get this. So give me 1 second here. Okay, so first of all, this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive, which means it is limited in where you can get it. Pretty much, I don't know if they ship overseas, but you can either get it online or at Barnes & Noble's brick and mortar stores. But you can get it pretty easily if you're in the States. Outside the country, I don't know if Barnes & Noble ships to you. So there is that. The price for it is $29.99, which is pretty good. And like I said, that you're looking at 4 mechs at $30, so it's because of that jump plume. I'm not a big fan of the jump plume. The jumping mechs are cool. I think they should be left to premiums and stuff like that. The Foce Packs, I'm in the opinion that you should only be getting mechs that are walking, running, stuck to the ground, essentially. Now, before I tell you how to get a McCarron's Armored Cavalry box, I do want to let you know about events that I will be running at Strategicon on President's Day weekend next year in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton. The first of these is the BattleTech Alpha Strike Poker Run, and this is essentially like a grinder where you have a set of mechs and you are trying to collect the best poker hand that you can by going through and hitting waypoints, and each time you hit a waypoint you have a chance to get a card, and at the end of the event, which is a 2-hour event, whoever has the best hand wins. Then we will also be having BattleTech Alpha Strike Gridiron Titans Mech Football, and this is essentially what it sounds like. This is played on a 2-foot by 4-foot table, simulating a football field in a way, and your objective is to score the highest score. You can either get the mech with the ball into the end zone, or you can actually kick it into the field goal. Finally, we will be having the BattleTech Alpha Strike Western Assault Tournament. This is the first year that we will be having it, and we're hoping to be able to run it every year. Right now, we have a maximum of up to 32 players. We do have open slots. This is on Sunday at 9 a.m., and I am very, very hopeful that this has a good turnout and that we are able to get a lot of players there to get in some games of Alpha Strike. It is a 375 point event, and you do not get charged extra for the tournament. It is just part of your fee for coming into the convention. So if you paid to get into the convention, you are able to play in this tournament. Now, you're probably wondering, Carrie, why don't you tell me how to get this box? Well, let me tell you how. What you do is you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/unicorn company. And as long as you are a patron at the $5 tier or up, you are eligible to win this box. So the way it works is you become a patron. As long as you are a patron before 11:59 on December 24th Eastern Standard Time, you are in the drawing. I will announce the winner on Christmas Day. So that is how you can get this box. Go to our Patreon, sign up at the $5 tier and higher, and you are entered in the drawing for this box. So I want to say that is everything for today. I really hope that you enjoyed the episode. If you want to keep up on what we do, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And also, if you want to support us further, you can either go to our sponsor, fortressminiaturesandgames.com. You can also support us by going to our Patreon at patreon.com/unicorn company. I thank you all very much for listening, and I hope that each of you have a wonderful day. This is Carrie, signing off. I want to thank all of our patrons and sponsors. Starting off, we have at the rank of Captain, Sarah. Then we have our Mercenary Review Bonding Commission representative, also known as our sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games. We then have our lieutenants, Boy in a Box, Haley, and Nathan. Our sergeants, Blind Zen Archer, Gus, Faz, and Steven. And let's not forget our cadets, NB Kaiju, Jamie, and Scott. Thank all of you for supporting the podcast and the channel. And if you would like to support us, and you can go to patreon.com/unicorn company, where we have a number of tiers. One might just fit you. So thank you all very much, and have a good day.